In my last video, I had finished seasoning up my Smokin-it Model 2 electric smoker. Got a little season there, and I had talked about I was going to do some ribs. So what we're going to do today, now by far I am no expert in smoking. I have smoked before, stick smoking, with wood and charcoal. Never used an electric smoker, so this is my first go at it. I followed the directions where they tell you to cover the pan with aluminum foil down here. There's a drip hole. It'll drip down into the drip pan. Also cover the smoke box lid, which all this is just for easy cleanup. One of the things I've read and saw on YouTube was that in these type of smokers you do not need a lot of wood. You can actually easily kill the food off and make it bitter from the smoke. So I'm just going to try 3 ounces of hickory today. And what we're going to do is just half a rack of ribs. The ribs I'll bring out in a minute. I got a little tin pan here. Now supposedly this is a very moist smoke, so you don't need to add any moisture. I, for years, have been putting a little half a can of beer in when I do my ribs and chickens. I just like the flavor it imparts. So I'm going to continue to do that. Just put a little beer in that tin there to add a little moisture and flavor as it smokes. I got a temperature probe, which obviously I'm not using for the ribs. It's just a remote temperature probe. The only reason I'm going to put that in there is I'm curious to see, with these types of smokers, with the dials there, what the temperature swings are. I did some reading. I hear they can swing as much as 60, 80 degrees sometimes. Not that I'm really concerned about that. As long as the food comes out great, that's fine by me. But me just being the way I am, I'm curious to see what it does and what the swings are. So I'm just going to kind of monitor the in-box temperature. I'm going to be setting it up here in a second, so we'll get back to that in a moment. I want to talk for a moment about the meal I'm going to make on the smoker today. I am going to do a ribs. I got half a slab of baby backs that I did in my own rub. They've been in the rub for 24 hours. Can of beer I'm going to put into the smoker there. I'm also going to be making a smoked macaroni and cheese along with this meal, and a caprese salad. I'll show you kind of the steps on those as we go. Real quick on the rub, what I like to use, everything in equal parts. So if you're using half teaspoons, depending on how much seasoning you need, everything's equal parts. So for example, tablespoon kosher salt, tablespoon cracked black pepper, tablespoon of cumin, ground cumin. I also need put in a tablespoon of garlic powder, the tablespoon of onion powder, Hungarian paprika, tablespoon. Also, I like to add 4 times the amount of brown sugar that I use in seasoning, so 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. That's all stirred and mixed real well and coated on the ribs. And then this, like I said, sat for 24 hours. So we're going to go load the box up, and we'll talk a little more about this smoke today. All right, we got the half a rack of baby back loaded in the smoker, looking real good. I got my probe just kind of hanging, not touching no metal, just kind of hanging in there so we can see what the temp runs. Half a can of beer is in the little tray, which I hear is really not needed. I kind of like the flavor it kind of imparts. As stated earlier, the hickory in the chamber, 3 ounces. Weighed on my scale, and I have my drip tray in place. So we're gonna lock this up, and we're going to wait 1 second. Bad camera work, of course. Get that locked up. We're gonna come up here. We're gonna set the machine to 225, and that's it. We're gonna let her go. I'm kind of estimating, since of the low amount of meat that's in there, I'm probably looking at 3.5 hours possibly. I'll start checking it. I am also making a smoked mac and cheese. That's only going to go in the mac and cheese for about an hour into the smoker. And I also am going to throw some green beans in an aluminum can in there just to heat them up. So I'll get back with the smoker, get back with you guys. I'm going to make a few of the other items, document that along the way, and we'll see how our first smoke goes on the new electric smoker. Well, it's been 20 minutes since we started the smoker at 225. Just a note, at the 15-minute mark, we hit about 160 degrees, which right now we're running after 20 minutes at I don't know if you can see that okay, 224, 225. It just switched. And that's what we got set at. Now we'll see how it holds at that temperature in the box. We're smoking nice. At 160, though, it started to smoke, and then we progressively, got a little smokier since then. Also, just a quick note, the ribs, I pulled them out of the fridge a half an hour prior to putting them in the smoker. I do that with my steaks and other things, kind of let them come up to room temp a little bit. So that I'm going to see how that factors in on the cooking time, because like I said before, I'm shooting like 3.5 hours, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. And also, I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that have these types of smokers. So any comments, suggestions, insights, experiences that could help me out, because I'm new with this type of smoker, would be greatly appreciated. I'm new with YouTube. Also, if you could help me out, that'd be great. I got some family coming here in about 2 weeks. I pride myself when they visit on sending them home about 10, 15 pounds heavier, so I'd like to keep up that tradition, and I'd like to get some smoked food in them and really do a good job at it. So any experience, I love fish, beef, pork, cheese, you name it. So anything you could help me out with, comment, recipes, turn my head a certain way, tell me I'm doing this wrong, right, indifferent, let me know. I appreciate it. Thanks. I just wanted to do a quick capture, and I really got to learn how to use this thermometer so I could turn the sensor, the sound off. Just after I stopped the other video, I had one of those backdraft type experiences that I've heard about with these smokers. A large puff just kind of erupted from everywhere, and suddenly the temperature, as you can see, hopefully that's focusing in, the temperature's reading about 280 to 285. It jumped up literally 30 degrees in a couple of seconds. So I heard that does happen with these smokers on occasion. It's almost like a buildup of gas that ignites. It was kind of really cool. So now I see why they tell you don't open these things when they're running. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I ran outside to my little garden here. I got a few ripe tomatoes on the turvy that I'm going to grab. I got a bunch of onions and some sweet basil and Genovese basil out of the garden. I'm going to grab those to make up a modified caprese salad that I'm going to have with the smoked ribs and the smoked mac and cheese we're making today. So I'm going to harvest that up and get to making the salad. All right, here's the players for the caprese salad. We got a couple tomatoes I got out of the garden, some Genovese and sweet basil from the garden, 2 rather large green onions or scallions from the garden, some roasted garlic that I made up this morning, little kosher salt, cracked pepper, some roasted red pepper, and this new product I'm trying, Bella Giarusso Unwrap and Roll Fresh Mozzarella. The plan is I'm going to unwrap, put all the ingredients, and roll it up. For those that don't know, roasted garlic, absolutely fabulous for anything. I used it today in my eggs. Very easy to make. Take yourself a whole head of garlic, remove the outer skin so the outside cloves are kind of not touching there, and then you want to cut the top of the head off, put a little olive oil, wrap in foil, preheat your oven, 500 degrees, 30 minutes, delicious roast garlic. You can use it throughout the week. So I'm going to put this together, show a few shots as we go, and get this ready for our salad.